Welcome to Redbeard Radio. I am Brian Keith, and we can often find truths in other industries are unlike our own and go bring those truths back home. We're talking today with a winery automation expert. And if you did not know you'd be learning how to better automate a winery's sales and marketing today, well, you are in luck. We have Crystelle Topatan to talk with us about her platform and how she helps automate wineries. Crystelle, welcome to Redbeard Radio.
Thank you very much, Brian. Great to be here.
Now, I did not know that I would ever be interviewing a winery automation expert on this podcast. So catch us up to speed. What is a winery automation expert?
Well, we look for opportunities across the entire business. So where there's been money left on the table or potentially time being wasted, or more importantly, having a really solid online presence. So you're not just relying on foot traffic.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what happens when foot traffic doesn't do so well. And we used to have a winery up near where I live. I'm in Olympia, Washington, but south of Seattle. And we had the Cranberry Road Winery, this wonderful place, and had great food. And it's a couple hours away out by the coast. And we went out there, and last time we were out there, it was gone. It was one of the many businesses that closed during the pandemic, couldn't reopen. And their experience was you went there and it was wonderful when you were there physically. And it's tragic. We lost the winery that we go to sometimes. So I imagine, if they'd had some more online stuff, then maybe they could have weathered that incredible storm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a massive one. And for all of our clients over, say, the last 4 years that we've been working with in this space, they were incredibly creative during the worst of the pandemic because they had to be. And the ones that weren't, unfortunately, got very quiet or, like you said, closed down.
Yeah, just totally gone. Well, tell me, what's one of the things you're seeing working really well for these companies, for these wineries that are doing more online?
So the very first thing that we find there's an opportunity around is connecting all of their systems together. So it means that if somebody walks into the restaurant or cellar door or they come to a special event, that's all connected and we're getting them into the database and starting to personalize who they are, what they like, and then we can start to look at the opportunities to market to them again. So they're getting to know who these people are that are coming.
I know someone who has not hired you. I know this because I proposed to my wife at a vineyard. We then ordered from that company all the wine for the wedding, did a wine tasting in Seattle at their showroom in the big city, but we were proposed around the countryside. And I don't think we've gotten maybe we got one thank you note from them, but we've not received any direct mail or emails or anything like that, which really at this point at which a couple buys from you, gets engaged where you are, and the salesperson knew all this in the shop, right? When we did the wine tasting for the wedding, and then buys crate after crate of wine, that's probably a high value referral source, if not a high value customer, right?
Oh, absolutely. I went to a beautiful wine festival on the weekend at the Hunter Valley, and there was thousands of people there, and the only people that knew who we were the ones we bought the tickets from originally, but none of the wineries there collected any information. And being in the space that I'm in, I was but I knew I couldn't talk to the girl behind the bar about it. But I felt like helping them. Like, no, there's so much opportunity here because you take someone who walks into the winery who is absolutely loving everything and then take them online and they can continue that relationship. And there's just so much opportunity there.
Well, that feels like a lot of our companies where we are partially using the tools at our disposal. I certainly am not using all the tools that I have in my hands to their full effect. And even if you were to tell a winery owner, hey, look, here's a dozen tools you could use to go make life better and build these close relationships, a winery owner probably also doesn't have time to actually use all the tools that you could give them. How do you help these winery owners that have a very limited amount of time actually use the tools that you can offer them?
Yeah, so depending on the size of the winery, sometimes where they're complete outsourced automation department, So our
Mm.
team manages it all for them ongoing. And all they need to do from the winery side is make sure the data is input at that first point of contact. And
Hmm.
then from there, we're managing it. Some of the wineries, though, that aren't the kind of smaller boutique or family owned ones, have a team. And so we do a lot of training once we've set up and make sure that they're looking for opportunities as well. And so we just kind of then be the machine behind the scenes for them. So it kind of depends how they're set up.
Now, people can hear from your lovely accent that you're not from the US. What area do you serve companies in?
So we're all across Australia. We're about to this week. We're launching into New Zealand, and
Beautiful.
and we're talking to a few people over in the US as well. So,
You
but
are
at
wonderful.
the moment, we're based all in different parts of Australia.
So location doesn't matter that much. It's more the companies that just have a desire to go automate more of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So tell me this, is it wineries only, or are you also doing distilleries for whiskey and such like?
Absolutely. So we've worked with a number of gin and whiskey distilleries, and
Yeah.
because it's a similar process and it's a similar repeat buyer. The difference with the wineries would be that wine clubs are a really massive opportunity for
Mm.
wineries. And,
Hmm.
I don't think that gin distilleries and whiskey distilleries do that kind of setup, the wine club kind of approach.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, absolutely. We actually work with all different kinds of businesses within Launchy. But we really love working with wineries because we see the shift and it's a great space to be working in.
Well, you see, being of Scottish ancestry, I think about all of the distilleries in Scotland, where that's perhaps the most important industry in Scotland. And I wonder, how effective are the Scottish distilleries at really keeping that connection alive? Do you have any insight into that?
Oh, no, I don't, but I would love to find out. That
Well,
is, yeah, that would
yeah,
be an amazing space to be in.
yeah, you have all the way from the tiny distilleries. The Glenkeith distillery, my family's distillery, was bought by the Chivas brothers some time ago. So it's one of these, it used to be a small company, is now part of this huge conglomerate, which probably has all their own internal marketing stuff, right? But then there's many, many dozens of distilleries in Scotland where that's just the main export, the main employer, the main tourist area. There's whole areas where that the culture is just based on that.
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, you know what, the like when we work with a winery, we look at basically like a six-stage process. And a big part of that is not just new customers and how you find out about them, but it's the customer loyalty side. So repeat
Yeah.
buyers and there's that would be such a massive thing. I know personally, I have a lot of friends and family that love their gin and would be very happy to receive it.
Yeah, and just that level of connection. Let's talk a bit about loyalty, because that's one of these things that applies to all of our businesses. When you look at wineries and you think the biggest amount of money they're leaving on the table when it comes to fostering customer loyalty, what does that look like?
Yeah, I think, not getting to know your customer and what they
Mm.
love. There's so much story behind wine, and it goes sometimes over years and years of creation of a particular beautiful wine, and really communicating that so they want to come back for more, and you become almost their go-to place. They're like, because you can, there's one thing to have repeat buyers, but to move someone from a sometimes repeat buyer to a wine club member who can design what wines they'd like in the case that they received that month because of the stories and the information that you share and nurture them along with, is the next level of turning one buyer into every month getting a case.
How do you create that experience? Do you help clients create that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we always start off. There's quite a lot of meetings to start with. Wineries aren't traditionally a fast moving industry.
Hmm.
So we talk a lot. And then once we actually get kind of into the nitty gritty of setting things up, we have a lot of conversation around strategy. What's the feel that they want people to leave the winery with? What does the family stand for? Is there special grapes in the region? All of that good stuff that starts to bring together what they stand for, and then trying to then replicate that online.
What's the vision for Launchy for when, let's say, you serve 10 times as many wineries as you're currently serving, and you're active all over the world? What's the long-term big vision of what your company's doing?
Oh, you know what? I would love to go on a massive world winery tour and just show
Oh,
off all
yeah.
the amazing brands. They are they're really a phenomenal industry. They're so passionate about what they do,
Yeah.
and we also have another business that I'm in partnership with some other people with that services wineries as well by connecting systems that have never been able to be connected. So
Mm.
really, we want to help these wineries, no matter what happens, whether it's a pandemic or a flood or whatever it might be. We want them to be solid and just not be affected no matter what. We have one of our wineries that within the first 12 months, they made more online than they did in the previous 12 months in 1 month.
Mm.
Like
Whoa.
it was incredible. They were just like, oh my gosh, what's next? What can we do next? So there's just so much opportunity. Where it's almost like we jumped on the wave 4 years ago, and we just haven't finished riding that wave. I think we'll just keep going and going. I don't think location will ever stop that one, which is exciting.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You make me think about how part of what happens when you win, when you help your clients win, is that you're safeguarding memories. That I remember, I think it was back when we were still engaged, that we got to have lunch with my future father-in-law and mother-in-law at that winery I mentioned that closed down. And I had no idea that'd be the last time we'd be there, right? And it was just this place that we went sometimes, but now it's not there. So this memory's gone. This place of where this part of my life was, a little lunch with the future in-laws, it's just gone. So you're sort of like you're defending our heritage of these places that we go to for special events, which
Yeah.
that just feels beautiful. I'm excited about your worldwide television show because I think you should do that wine tour, but hire a videographer. Hear me out. And then this is a wine TV kind of thing where you're just going and interviewing all these wine entrepreneurs and also eating and drinking across the whole world.
Oh my gosh. Now you're talking. That
I'll
is.
make the sacrifice. I will show up. I'll take you to the winery where we got engaged and also bought all the wine for the wedding. And it'll be gorgeous. Now, whether or not they know who I am when I walk in the door probably depends on have they hired you to do their automation. Uh, it would be nice. Tell us this, Crystelle, for people who are running wineries, or better yet, if anyone listening to this, you have a winery you love, someplace you're connected to, like I'm connected to that one winery or to a distillery, where, and you can hand this episode to them. Okay. So those folks can go ahead and get in contact with Crystelle. Crystelle, where's the best place for people to go to get in touch with you about automating their winery marketing?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I would love to hear from, like you said, people who are connected to beautiful wineries or the owners or the whoever we can help. We just love the conversation. So if you jump onto our website, so it's launchy.io, so it's launchy.io. We've got a couple of blog posts on there where you can reach out straight away. There's lots of ways to connect, but you can book an appointment and we can have a chat and just see if we can help, which if you're at a winery, we definitely can help you. We also have some really solid partners in the same space as well that we work with. So if they're needing a new website, if they're needing just some support in any of those areas, we can connect you with the right people as well.
Wonderful. And last question, Crystelle, if people like your story, where's the best place to connect with you on social media?
So you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook as well, but LinkedIn you'll see a bit of our background and my background. So definitely do that. So it's Crystelle Topatan.
Great. And we'll have that in the show notes. Crystelle, thank you for being on Redbeard Radio.
Thank you very much.